Hello everyone, Namaskar. First of all, I would like to thank NRI Pulse for hosting this storytelling event, and I'm very honored to come to this stage and share my story. A young child was born as a fourth daughter into a middle-class family in Bhutan, a developing country in a patriarchal society. Her parents never thought she would be a burden to them. Instead, they named her Indira after India's first female president, the great Indira Gandhi. Their goal was to succeed for all their children, including this little child. My name is Indira Adhikari Subedi, that little child. When I was a child in early 90s, my family, along with 100,000 fellow Nepali-speaking Bhutanese, were forced to flee Bhutan due to ethnic cleansing policy of our government. The only memories I have about my birthplace is of my mom crying while giving away all our cows, goats, and sheep to our neighbor. For 17 years, I lived in a school-ed UN refugee camp in Nepal. Life in refugee camp was terrible. Some days we ate a single meal, held to a plastic roof during rainy and windy days, went barefoot to an open-air school under the protective cover of trees, carried floor mats and few notebooks to nearby forests to study. There was no any electricity or any kind of artificial light, so we studied in daylight or using kerosene lamp at night. Many people in refugee camp died of a lot of diseases. They did not have any medical facilities. Most of them were malnourished and often victims of violence, rape, and diseases. So many people died of preventable conditions such as upper respiratory infection, diarrhea, measles, malaria, maternal death, and some from undiagnosed diseases. As a child, I could do nothing to these people except suffer and cry together with them. Ever since, I always wanted to help the helpless and be the voice for voiceless by achieving higher education, but as a refugee with limited opportunities, my dreams seemed to be unattainable. Life continued like that for several years. My siblings and I went outside our refugee camp for high school and further education. My dad worked very hard to finance our schooling despite of our poverty. Many young refugee girls were victims of violence, rape, and trafficking. It was hard to trust anybody from refugee camp as well as outside the refugee camp, where these young poor girls were constantly abused verbally, physically, or sexually. Only few people from our community worked to save these girls from trafficking. Today on this stage, I would like to thank my husband, Narayan, who is sitting right there, for his courage. The only person I know in refugee camp where he worked for Mighty Nepal, one of the non-profit that rescues the victims of human trafficking. Luckily, in end of 2008, my family got an opportunity to resettle in America. We were very happy to come to the land of opportunity and fulfill our dreams. Even though we faced many challenges of language, culture, and the place, we worked very hard to establish our foundation. My dad, who had always been a priest, had to go to work in a chicken processing factory as it was very necessary for him to have the first job to survive in America. In 2013, our family was struck by a traumatizing loss. One of my brothers, Pritam Adhikari, passed away from a rare form of cancer at the age of 22. Our family was devastated, and to this day, my parents haven't recovered. During his last few days in Atlanta's Grady Memorial Hospital ICU, seared into my soul forever. I felt an undeniable calling to be an oncology nurse and serve these patient, family members, and loved ones. In addition, I felt the need to succeed as a way to honor my late brother's lost dreams. In 2015, I was accepted into Emory University School of Nursing, one of the best nursing schools in the US. It was the happiest moment of my life, even though I did not have a penny in my pocket to pay for the school. And some days I did subsidize myself on a cup of noodle. I did graduated from Emory University with my BSN degree in 2017 and started working at an oncology unit in Atlanta VA's Medical Center. I love taking care of veterans patients, one of the most vulnerable population in America. For my hard work, I was awarded with Daisy Award for 3 times for my exceptional care to my patients. In addition to taking care of patients in hospital, I do love taking care of people outside of my work. I wanted to continue my late brother Pritam's legacy continue. Pritam used to be very intelligent, generous, polite, and helpful to our family, his friend circle, and community. He actively volunteered to help the needy. Like me, his dream was to help the helpless. So in 2022, I launched a nonprofit, Pritam Adhikari Education Foundation, with the mission to provide wellness education to Bhutanese community in America and scholarships to low-income students in Bhutan, Nepal, and UN refugee camps. To this day, we have been launching a lot of health education seminars throughout the country in America and actively serving 2 university students financially in Nepal. To advance my nursing skills and knowledge, I started working at an emergency department at VA from starting of 2022. In September 11 of 2023, as we know, September 11 is the worst day in America, I was assaulted by a drug-induced mental health patient where he pinned me down. At that moment, I prayed for my life, and all I could think was, I need to survive to continue my late brother's legacy. I did survive that horrific incident with non-life-threatening injury. After that, I thought of leaving the patient care even though I love patients so much. Recently, I have been accepted to a quality management, utilization management nurse, where a nurse can oversee the patient care, where even if they receive the quality of care or not. In addition to that, I'm going back to school for master's in education, where I can be more proficient providing education to my community and my patients. My life has so many ups and downs, and I take all the negative situations or incidents as a learning opportunity. Pele, one of the world-famous football players, once said, "Success is not an accident. It is hard work, perseverance, sacrifice, and most of all, love of what you do." That being said, I would be continuing my life to make a difference in some people's life through my work as well as Pritam Foundation. Your support, suggestion, and guidance is highly appreciated. Thank you all.